Let's go Dolphins! Something happened this weekend that's causing quite a stir, but almost no one understands the whole story. And I'll tell you right now, what seems like a small, almost embarrassing moment at first glance may be hiding something much bigger about the future of this team. There's a narrative forming, opinions flying everywhere, and some fans already jumping to conclusions. But what if I told you they're focusing on the wrong thing? Because while everyone is laughing, criticizing, or even panicking, there are people within the club facing this situation in a very different way. And if you put all the pieces together, you might start to see a completely different picture of the Miami Dolphins' future in 2026. But before I explain everything and reveal what's really happening behind the scenes, I need to know one thing from you. If you truly believe this team is on the right track, if you're one of those fans who still see the potential, growth, and future of the Miami Dolphins, click the like button right now. And I want to see who the real optimists are. Leave a comment saying, I trust this team, great things are coming. Because what I'm about to tell you might challenge everything you thought about this situation. Over the weekend, Malik Willis became the center of attention, but not for the reasons you'd expect. During a ceremonial first pitch appearance, he missed home plate, and not just slightly. We're talking about a throw that landed roughly 15 feet off target. Instantly, social media lit up. Dolphins fans started questioning the decision to bring him in, critics jumped at the opportunity, and suddenly, a harmless moment turned into a full-blown narrative about his accuracy as a quarterback. But let's be real for a second, does that actually matter? Because if we're being honest, we've seen elite quarterbacks struggle in the exact same situation. This isn't speculation, it's fact. High-level NFL talent doesn't automatically translate to throwing a baseball. The mechanics are different, the motion is different, and the pressure of a spotlight moment like that can make even the best athletes look awkward. And Willis? He handled it exactly how you'd want your quarterback to handle it, with confidence and humor. He even joked about it afterward, saying he slipped, brushing it off instead of letting it define him. But here's what most people completely ignored, and this is where things get really interesting. Behind the scenes, during that same visit, Malik Willis stepped into the batting cage and absolutely crushed it. We're talking about exit velocities reaching over 109 miles per hour. That's not normal. That's elite athleticism. That's the kind of raw physical ability that reminds you exactly why this front office is intrigued by him. So while the internet focused on a missed throw, the reality is Miami might have a quarterback with serious upside, someone who can develop, grow, and potentially thrive in the right system. And that brings us to the real conversation happening inside the organization right now. Because the Dolphins know one thing. If they're going to properly evaluate Malik Willis in 2026, they cannot afford to surround him with uncertainty. Right now, the roster lacks proven, reliable pass-catching options, especially in key situations like third downs or over the middle of the field. There's potential, sure. There's youth, upside, and development pieces. But dependable production? That's still a question mark. And that's exactly why the name David Njoku is gaining traction. Njoku is still one of the most intriguing free agents available. Yes, there are signs he might be slightly past his absolute peak, but don't get it twisted, this is still a tight end who can make an impact. Last season alone, he showed efficiency where it matters most, catching 20 of 27 targets over the middle, with minimal drops and strong production in contested situations. That's the kind of reliability Miami desperately needs. Think about it, a quarterback like Willis, who is still proving himself, benefits massively from having a safety valve, someone he can trust when the play breaks down or when the defense tightens up. Njoku brings that presence. He can line up inline, operate in the slot, and create mismatches. And in a system that's expected to lean heavily on two tight end sets and play-action football, his versatility becomes even more valuable. But here's the twist. Njoku is currently visiting other teams, including the Chargers. And there's a strong belief that he may prefer joining a contender, someone closer to a playoff run. Miami, at least for now, is still in a transitional phase. They're building something, not finishing it. However, timing could change everything. The Dolphins are currently limited financially, sitting on tight cap space until after June 1st. Once that window opens, they could suddenly have flexibility, enough to make a strategic move. And if Njoku is still available by then, the door isn't just open, it might be the perfect opportunity. Because at the end of the day, this season isn't just about winning, it's about evaluation. It's about finding out if Malik Willis can truly be the future of this franchise. And you cannot make that evaluation fairly without giving him the tools to succeed. And here's where the situation takes another turn. Because when you really start connecting all the dots, you begin to understand that this isn't just about adding a name like David Njoku. It's about shaping the entire identity of the Miami Dolphins offense moving forward. We're talking about a team that is clearly preparing to lean into a completely different philosophy. Forget the flashy, pass-heavy approach that fans got used to in previous seasons. Everything we're hearing, everything we're seeing, points toward a more physical, controlled style of play. A system built on running the football, controlling the clock, and then striking through play action. And in that kind of system, tight ends are not just role players, they're essential. That's why Njoku fits this puzzle so well. Because when you look at the current tight end room, there's potential, but there's also a lot of uncertainty. Greg Dulcich is a name that brings optimism, no doubt about it. The coaching staff believes in him, the fan base is curious to see what he can become, and there's definitely upside there. But can you confidently say he's ready to be the guy right now? That's where the hesitation comes in. Then you look at the rest of the group. Well, Mallory brings effort and some upside, but he's still developing. The same goes for younger or less proven pieces who are either blockers first or long-term projects. There's no clear, established presence. No veteran who can step in on day one and command respect from defenses. And that's exactly the gap Njoku would fill. Even if he's not at his absolute peak anymore, he still brings something Miami doesn't currently have: experience, physicality, and reliability in high-pressure moments. He's proven he can win contested catches, he knows how to operate in tight spaces, and most importantly, he gives a young quarterback like Malik Willis someone he can trust when things aren't perfect. Now let's talk about scheme fit for a second, because this is where it gets even more intriguing. Njoku isn't just a traditional tight end. He's versatile. He can line up inline, he can shift into the slot, and he can be moved around to create mismatches. Last season, a significant portion of his snaps came from different alignments, which is exactly what you want in a modern offense. If Miami truly commits to heavy 12 personnel sets, 2 tight ends on the field consistently, then having a player like Njoku alongside Dulcich could completely transform how defenses approach this team. Suddenly, you're forcing linebackers to cover in space. You're creating confusion pre-snap. You're opening lanes for the run game. And most importantly, you're making life easier for your quarterback. Because let's not lose focus here, the priority is Malik Willis. Everything about this season revolves around evaluating him. Can he be the franchise quarterback? Can he lead this team long-term? Can he handle the pressure? Those questions won't be answered fairly if he's throwing to unproven options who can't consistently get open or secure the football. And that's why the front office has a decision to make. Do they stay patient, trust the young core, and roll into the season with what they have? Or do they take advantage of the post-June cap space, make a calculated move, and bring in a proven weapon like Njoku to stabilize the offense? Because make no mistake, the opportunity is there. Njoku has already visited multiple teams and hasn't signed yet. That tells you something. Either he's waiting for the right situation, the right contract, or the right role. And Miami could potentially offer something unique, a chance to be a central piece in an evolving offense, in a city he's already familiar with, working with a quarterback who needs exactly the kind of skill set he provides. But it's a gamble, because if the Dolphins wait too long, another team could step in and close the deal. And if that happens, Miami is left hoping that potential turns into production, without a safety net. So now it really comes down to philosophy. Do you build slowly and trust development, or do you accelerate the process by adding proven talent? That's the question hanging over this team right now. If you're in that front office, what are you doing? Are you making a move for Njoku as soon as the cap space opens up, or are you rolling the dice on the current roster and betting on growth? And more importantly, what does that decision say about how much confidence they truly have in Malik Willis?